This video provides an overview of the basic induction training where users will learn how to teleport, interact with the U3D timeline, put on their spacesuit, and use the wristband. In order to select activities, we use the side trigger on the controller that brings up a pointer, and then we point at the menu in order to get the straight pointer to choose the activity.
Hi there, I'm astrophysicist Dr. Kirsten Banks. Welcome to the Universe 3D Space Telescope, otherwise known as U3D. U3D is the first habitable space telescope orbiting the Earth, as you can see by looking outside. You have entered the U3D transporter room, the research hub of U3D. From where you're standing, take a moment to simply look around you. Each time you come to U3D from Earth to start a new research task, you will arrive in the transporter room. From here, you will jump into your work. And I mean literally jump, but more on that soon. You must complete some initial training to become familiar with the transporter room and the tools and devices that will help you in your research. It's essential to know how everything works before you start. Let me introduce you to your console, the powerhouse for your research. It includes an instrument panel and a monitor. The instrument panel has all the measurement tools and devices needed for your research. The monitor will provide information and feedback on your tasks. There's a bit to learn, so we will do it over 2 induction sessions. For this first session, see the induction checklist on the monitor. Follow the instructions carefully.
So the user will be displayed with the objectives of this training on the checklist in front of them in the console. The user will then be...
Let's begin by learning how to move around the transporter room. Move to different points in the room to practice your new skill. Then return to the console.
The user will be then asked to learn how to transport around the room using the controller with a set of instructions on the console screen. So in order to do that, we just use the side trigger on either controller to bring up a pointer. And this curved pointer allows the user to pick a point in their space that they would like to teleport to. So I'm going to do that now. In order to accept the teleport or to execute it, we just press the front trigger, like so. The other option when teleporting is the ability to be able to orientate in a direction that you desire. So we use that pointer again by pressing the side trigger to bring up the pointer. We use the thumbstick and rotate the thumbstick to control the endpoint's orientation, and then we face the arrows in a direction that we would like to face once teleported. So in this example here, I'm going to teleport and face the spacesuit, as you can see, like so. So once the user has actually teleported around their space 3 times, the pink footpad will highlight near to the console, advising the user to go back there to take the next task. When they return, Kirsten will head over to the window and the user will be instructed to move over to the U3 timeline by standing onto the footpad. So I'm just going to teleport there now.
This is the U3D Universe timeline. It illustrates our latest understanding of the evolution of the universe from the Big Bang to the present, spanning 13.8 billion years. This timeline is not just a fancy mural. It is your portal to significant points in time and space. For each research task, you will select a specific point to enter the universe timeline. Point a controller directly at the timeline and hold down the side trigger. Scan the length of the timeline for some interesting facts. Return to the console when you are finished.
After Kirsten has introduced the U3D timeline, again, we can use the side trigger to bring up the pointer, and we'll still get the teleport pointer when we point to the ground, but if we point to the timeline, it will switch to a straight pointer, allowing us to select the panels on the timeline. So as we move across the panels, there's some text across the top that explains the time period in the 3D timeline. And you'll see these little markers that are pink. They actually let the user know that these are the activities that are part of unlocking the universe VR experience that they'll be doing later on. So when they move the pointer
signals
over to
from the cosmic dawn,
they'll hear also audio feedback letting them know about the name of that activity.
the epoch of reionization, signals from the cosmic dawn, exploring the first atoms, the oldest light.
Now, in order to complete this training task, they need to go over all the panels.
The oldest light, exploring the first signals from the epoch of.
And once they've actually hovered over all of the panels, they can return back to the console. So as you see, as I teleport around, the console is now flashing, or the console footpad is now flashing pink, so we can return to the console to get the next task. So Kirsten will head over towards the spacesuit, and the user will be instructed to go over to the spacesuit cabinet and then use their controller to point and click on the spacesuit in order to wear it. So again, using the side trigger, we bring up the pointer. When the pointer is pointing at the ground, the teleport pointer will be available. When the user points towards the spacesuit, a straight pointer will be available. If they press the front trigger while pointing at the spacesuit, they'll then wear the spacesuit.
Wow, that spacesuit really suits you. Check out your reflection in the mirror.
While wearing the spacesuit in the transporter room, they can actually then see themselves in a mirror.
You need a spacesuit to go out into space, right? You cannot teleport into the universe timeline without first putting a U3D spacesuit on. When you return to the transporter room after each research task, you must return the suit to its cabinet. You just repeat the action with your controller. So do that now.
So the reverse is now true. If we point towards the spacesuit cabinet, the pointer comes up, we press the front trigger to return the suit.
Take a closer look at the U3D wristband on your left wrist. They're the latest U3D issue. Return to the console to check your induction instructions on using the band.
So Kirsten will return back to the console at this point. We can see that we've got a wristband on our left wrist, which has a series of 3 functions, which we'll go learn more about now by returning to the console. So again, the console footpad is highlighting pink to let the user know to return to the console. Information about the wristband comes up on the console screen. So as we can see, the icon with the camera is for taking snapshots. So the user will, when they're in activities, take shots of their measurements, or take photos of or snapshots of points of interest, etc. They also have a transporter room icon or button, which actually alerts them to return back to the transporter room. Since we're already in the transporter room, this is disabled at the moment. Then finally, they have an Earth button, which will return to Earth. So this button is available through all the activities, except when they're in the transporter room and they haven't placed their spacesuit back. So if they're still wearing the spacesuit in the transporter room, this will be disabled. Otherwise, it'll be enabled and they can return back to the main menu. The idea here is if someone chooses the wrong activity or is doing the wrong task, they can press that button, return to the main menu and select the correct one. As you can see at the moment, this is explained on the console screen in front of us, but it also asks the user to take a snapshot to progress through the training as a practice run. So you can see that the icon will notify the user in order to take a snapshot. So let's do that now. Take a snapshot of Kirsten.
Woohoo! That's enough for our first induction session. When you return for the second session, you will learn to use the tools on the console. You are welcome to stay and explore the transporter room further. You can try on your spacesuit again, read more about the universe timeline, and take some photos before returning to Earth. When ready, use your wristband's Return to Earth function. I'll see you next time.
So at this point, the users completed the formal training tasks, but they can actually go around the room and practice what they've learnt. So they can go put their spacesuit back on, take their spacesuit back off, interact with the timeline, and also practice teleporting, or even taking more snapshots. Anyway, so let's now return to Earth using the wristband and complete that activity.